Sorry. You're good. Chief.
Since we have a guest, my suggestion is that we move the tip line to item A, or swap it with item A.
Okay.
To let our guest make his speech so we can get off the line if he wants to.
Okay. Ready? Swap.
6 o'clock.
Go ahead and call the meeting to order. Start with roll call. Chief Minor.
Here.
Joyce Lopez. Brad Linkard.
Yep.
Brian Sepla.
Here.
Chief Pettis.
Here.
And make it known that Assistant Chief Cotto and Chad Higley are excused tonight. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
God of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll start with the consent agenda. Item number 1, approval of the minutes of meeting on June 19th, 2025. Does anybody have any questions on that? Do we have an approval?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Any second? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And moving on to new business, we're going to move item B up first for the discussion of the police department tip line, as we have a guest on the line so they can present and speak. Matt, can you hear us?
Oh, hello, yeah. How's everybody doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. Good. So, and everybody can hear me loud and clear, correct?
Yes.
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 So, it was my intent to show you a visual, quick visual rundown of TIP 411. It doesn't look like I have the option to share my screen, which is fine. You know, I can give you a quick overview of TIP 411 and what you have with the program, and then I can answer any questions anybody has as well. So what you have with TIP 411, and from what I know, and I'm filling in for Tony Spano, who worked with Darian Matthews at the Arizona Youth Partnership to bring TIP 411 to your community. I understand that it's paid for, so the system is ready to be activated at any time for you to launch to the public. And what it's going to do is it's going to allow citizens to submit anonymous tips via a custom branded mobile app that you'll have, and then via text message as well. So folks will be able to pop up on their phone anytime, anywhere, send in an anonymous tip via text message or through that mobile app. And then that tip, when it comes in, it'll come in real time. It's going to open up a two-way conversation between agency personnel and that tipster. So that's what you'll be getting with the system. And you know, I guess, are there any questions on how the system works, how it can be monitored and managed, or anything of that nature?
Matt, it's Chief Manuel here.
Hey, Chief.
Hey, how you doing? Hey, Matt, can you just give them just a quick overview of it, and then, you know, just give them an idea of how the system works and how it's going to benefit the community and the police department, and just so everyone here has an idea of what we're looking at as far as the program.
I'll do my best to give a verbal overview of how the system works. But like I said, it's going to open up those avenues like text message and agency branded, community branded mobile apps for tip submission. So the goal is, and why it's been, why the program has been successful for communities like Apache Junction, Glow, Gilbert, and Tempe, and many others throughout Arizona, among over 2,000 across the country, is because we open up those avenues that citizens are using on a daily basis already to communicate, right? For better or worse, we're living in a day and age, as you all know, where people don't want to pick up a phone and call. So we make it easy to submit tips via text message. And then, like I said, those tips, they're going to come in real time. Text message and mobile app. They're going to come in real time. They're going to open up that two-way conversation. So right from any device that's connected to the internet, you will be able to monitor tips. So it doesn't matter if it's a computer in the office, a mobile device, computer at home. Tips are going to be received by your agency, and you're able to set up notifications for those new tips as well, so you can be notified. You can choose who you want to be notified, anybody or as many people as you want to be notified, and that's another important note. We provide unlimited user access. So there's no cap to the amount of users you can have within your agency or community, for that matter, using TIP 411 on the back end. And you can set up the personnel that you want to receive notifications of new tips, to receive a real-time text message and or email anytime a tip comes in. So you have that real-time notification. You can monitor the system on any device that's connected to the internet. And then from there, you can view the tip, and then, like I said, you can communicate back and forth with the tip system. So the system, it's working really well for the agencies I mentioned in your area. There's a great success story on our blog on tip411.com out of Globe, actually, from a couple months ago, in which they were able to apprehend a suspect based on a number of tips that they got through tip 411. So it's proven to be successful in the area and across the country, in how it helps, like I said, give those easy and preferred methods of communication for anonymous tip submission.
So those, like the officers would be logged into their app or whatever, and it would give them a notification that a tip came in, type thing, and then they can respond immediately if they wanted to or if they had the availability to.
Yes, exactly. So anybody you want to have access, any officers and anybody within the city will have their own unique login credentials. And everything's web-based as well. So there's no installation of anything needed, except for if you want the mobile app on your phone. There's an agency user mobile app called the TIP 411 admin app. So there's no installation of anything needed on your local IT resources needed to get up and running with TIP 411. If that makes sense. It's all web-based, but you're absolutely right. The officers will be able to hop in when those tips come in, view the tip, and communicate if needed. Now, another important note that I want to point out, and I already mentioned, but I want to reiterate, the fact that you can set it up for the users of your choosing to receive real-time notifications when tips come in, and those notifications can be received via email and text message. But the other important thing for me to point out is anytime a tip is submitted, that tipster, the person that submits that tip, they're going to receive a real-time message that's sent out automatically. So as soon as that tip is sent in, they're going to get a message that says, thank you for submitting your tip to Superior TV. Your tip was submitted successfully. If this is an emergency, dial 911 immediately. And then from there, you're able to add custom language to that success message as well. So anything you want relayed out to the tipster can be added to that automated message. So a lot of agencies, now I don't know if you'll plan on monitoring the system 24/7, but a lot of the agencies we partner with across the country do not monitor the system 24/7. They're unable to. So they'll add a little alert to that message that says, this system is not monitored 24/7. Please allow for X amount of hours for a response.
And then this is based on tower location, just like if you were to call 911. So anybody within reason of the tower just geolocated to our towers in Superior so that we don't get something, say, from Florence Junction or something like that from the tower down there. It's only
So-
gonna ping off of our towers.
So, and that's, I should have clarified, so how it works, I'll start with the text message side of things. How it works is the tipster is gonna send their tip to the number 847411. And then you'll have a unique keyword that would differentiate tips. Meant for your agency to get that tip into your agency's tip database. So like Globe PD has their own, Allison has their own, et cetera, and that unique keyword is what differentiates tips. Meant for that agency to get that tip into the correct tip database. So hypothetically, to answer your question, somebody from outside the area could use your agency keyword and submit a tip.
Okay. I was
Yeah.
looking along the lines that it would be like geolocated where, that cell phone sent that text message from that tower and then it would direct to our PD. But if there's a, keyword that they have to put in, then we just need to be diligent to let them know that they have to supply that keyword to be able for it to go to the correct facility.
Yeah, and with one thing I haven't touched on either is how we help with web presence. So we help build a web page that has all tip one information, which would include that keyword. And then we also help out on the promotional side of things. So we create promotional materials, including flyers and informational business cards that will have that keyword information. That certainly helps make that keyword visible to the public. And then we have a PR director on staff who's actually a former PIO at Cambridge PD in Massachusetts, who they've used Tip 411 for 17 years. They're still going strong. He, as a former PIO, has a lot of experience in regard to social media posts and sequence with the social media posts and media releases. So he provides media templates for media releases, and then he provides templated social media posts and the sequences for those social media posts. So it provides that content and kind of helps our space out that content, but all of that would have your unique keyword in it as well. So it's another way to get that, another way to make that keyword as visible as possible to the public.
Yeah, and in addition, we do have a standard operating procedures, correct, Matt? And that allows us as a department to assign administrators, which would be our current command staff, myself, lieutenant, and sergeants. And so they would be
Correct.
the ones that would get that information and channel it from there. But there are standard operating procedures that they already have drafted up as a template for us, which all we have to do is kind of fill in the blanks on, which helps us. So,
Any other questions?
Yep, absolutely.
When will this come online?
yes,
So
did you hear what the,
Chief can handle it.
what was that?
I'm sorry, Chief. You can answer that. You can go for it.
Well, I think as far as when it can go online, I think as soon as possible. I mean, it's a matter of getting with, I forgot his name, Matt. The gentleman that couldn't make it here.
Oh, and Tony's been working with Darian, but you would actually work with your account manager. I believe going to be Gordy, but you would have an account manager who would help you activate the system, and because it's already paid for, help you activate it, do a web-based training with anybody who wants to be included on that training. So really, whenever you're ready to hit go on it, you can do so.
Okay, so there's no technical problem or anything else, so what's our suggested launch date? When are we gonna see this?
How soon can we get that up, Matt? I mean, is it a matter of just saying the word? Or?
So what I can do is I can tomorrow morning I'll have Tony send an email to Gordy, who will be your account manager, and he'll reach out to Chief. Should I have him reach out to you for to set up an onboarding call?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll have him reach out to the chief, and you guys can coordinate a time for an onboarding call, which during that onboarding call, he'll get the system activated with you and whoever else you want to be present. And then he'll kind of walk you through the ins and outs of the system.
Okay, sounds good, man.
I just have one other question. You said it was completely paid for. Is this like grant money, or is there any risk that the future that we might have to pay for any of that?
That I'm unsure about. You know, I haven't, I'm filling in for Tony Stano, who worked with Darian Matthews over at the Arizona Youth Partnership. And I'm not sure how they funded it. I haven't really been privy to those conversations, so I apologize, I can't answer it. But I'm certain Darian or Tony will be able to answer that for you, you know, tomorrow if you want me to have them send you an email, I can certainly do that, or give you a call.
Yeah, that would be great. Just that way we know if, you know, if we're signing any contracts or anything like that. I mean, I know at this point it's free, but just so that we know for the future, because we don't want to implement something and then, you know, say later on we can't afford it or something changes, then at least we know ahead of time
Right.
what we need to plan for.
Yeah, and talking to
Yeah,
Darren,
absolutely. And is that Ruby? Is this Ruby?
This is Amy.
Amy, okay. I got an email from a Ruby and
Oh, yeah,
Amy,
she's our clerk. I'm the chairperson for emergency services committee.
okay.
hey man, I wanted to add,
Okay.
when I spoke to Darren earlier, just to kind of put it out, as far as the cost is paid up to July, the middle of July or so next year.
Okay.
And then, that gives us enough time for, because we are gonna work with, or combine the system with, the Kearney, who's the other one? Kearney,
Hayden Winkleman or?
Aiden, I think it is. There was like 3 of them, Thatcher, not Thatcher.
Yeah.
What, there was like 3 of them, but it's all gonna be broken up.
Mammoth is one of the ones.
Yeah, so we're gonna break it up, and the cost that they're looking at is not 100%, but it was something like 4,000 each.
Oh,
So.
So
to
divided up
continue-
between
Yes,
all.
it's gonna be divided between, I think, 4 agencies, and that would allow every one of us to use it for. So that's something that we can clarify with Darren and Tony, and get something in writing.
but at least if we know now, we're covered into that point.
Yes,
then
we're
we can
definitely
plan.
July of 2026, we're covered.
Any other questions? Concerns? Thank you for the information and joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and look forward to, and I'll fill Gordy, your account manager, Tony, in on everything tomorrow, and then you can expect to hear from them. But I appreciate the time and the opportunity tonight, and look forward to seeing you, hopefully seeing you up and running with TIP 411 soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you. All right, take care.
Thank you.
You probably hang up that line if you want, nobody else will be on it.
Yeah, we don't need it. Elevator music. So, we'll move on to new business item A. We'll go back to that one. Discussion on quarterly drills, and number 1 is discussion on upcoming 2025 Q3 drill. Does anybody want to take that?
Yeah, for sure. So we'll work with Chief Perez and Tim when he's back. But the date of 16th of October will be next option to train with the site first response and waste rescue teams.
Okay.
So we'll Chad Eagley will be back next week and probably connect with Tim on base, make sure that works for him.
Yeah, coming back next week.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, thank you. The Q3, just as a comment, the Q3 site support and drills was covered by project familiarisation tours. So we had a number of agencies, we had HERA, County, Town Security Department and Fire attend site for familiarisation. So appreciate everybody's time with that.
Any other questions or concerns on item A before we move on? I'm gonna grab the mic. Okay, moving on to C, discussion on ESAs and resolution copper mining and the county superior.
So, I wanted to start this off, if that's okay, Chairman? Here's the phrase from the existing ESA contract. This agreement shall terminate upon the earlier to occur, 1, 6 months after resolution issues its formal notice to proceed, or 2, December 31, 2025. Parties may extend this agreement in 12-month terms by mutual agreement, in which case the agreement shall terminate at such time it is not further extended. So, the reason that's important is because if we watch the news on resolution, we know that the notice to proceed is a constantly moving target. Fed politics and the courts are making this hard to parse. So in the meantime, my direction to department heads has been to do the study to try to update the numbers, because the EIS did a bunch of calculations on what the actual cost of the expanded service would be. Those numbers are 6 years old now, and we've all been living through a really crazy inflationary environment. So the employment market has been very tough in this industry, so hiring is, to be competitively hiring is going to be difficult. So both chiefs are completing pay parity studies, they're completing equipment studies to determine what equipment they need for those guys, and they're going to be bringing those forward in future meetings. I know the chief has a draft of, the police chief has a draft of his. I've seen it, we've made comments. It's not quite ready for prime time. Maybe next meeting it will be. Hopefully the fire department's in a similar place, that we've got some good pay parity studies started. We are going to have to do extensive hiring in these committees, or in these departments, and we are not competitive in our pay scale. So trying to double the size of a department that is not paying a competitive wage will be difficult to impossible. So the pay parity study is going to be very important. We have to understand that currently Globe is paying $8,000 a year more on average than we are for PD. Similar for fire. So we are, and to tell you how crazy this has been, we are paying the same they were paying 2 years ago. So they have gone up $10,000 in 2 years. The entire industry's been like that. The inflationary environment's driving it. So this is going to take some pretty thorough discussion. And I do know that, like I said, the chiefs have been doing their homework. I don't think we're there yet. We want to make sure that we've checked it all and it all makes sense before we bring it forward to the committee, and then we get to hammer it and send it back to them and make them do more homework. So, but the first stage is for them to come with a well thought out, rationed out, reasonable report. Right now, for example, we are talking about a second crew on the ambulance. So we only have one ambulance. If it's out of town, there's no coverage. If the call volume goes up, they'll be out of town a lot. So there will be extended periods where they're not covered. So there needs to be a second crew. We currently have 3 ambulances. One is 10 years old, one is about 7 years old, and one is 25. The 25-year-old is our backup, and it is not a tenable backup. So we are going to have to purchase another ambulance to make sure these 2 crews have an ambulance at all times. So there's all sorts of little things the chiefs have to think out and make sure they have good reasoned numbers, and then they have to bring them back and we have to talk about it. Again, I would hope we would have that conversation pretty soon, but it is a pretty heavy lift for these small departments to come up with all these numbers. And hopefully, chiefs, are you both on track to bring them back next month?
I think we can try to bring it back next month. We have a lot of information down, we've been studying it, so I'm not gonna make that a goal, and we can discuss it next month if you want to.
Okay. And decisions will likely not be made. These decisions are made above our heads, right? So, well, not above my head, but above the committee said. This is an advisory board. You have to ratify a budget that you think is appropriate. Then it has to go to the negotiation with resolution for the oversight committee. There's a committee of 2 members of the town and 2 members of resolution that will meet and decide that this is the appropriate structure, then it has to be negotiated and it has to be written out by the lawyers. So I anticipate this just being the first step in a long conversation. But I want to make sure that we have done all our homework, we come up with a very reasoned budget that we can defend to anybody, and we take it to all of our higher ups saying, this has been thoroughly vetted. So that's our mission, that's our goal, and my goal is to have it done by this December. Because theoretically, this process could, if all the stars align and all the judges decide and we all hold our breath, it could be approved by mid-December. That could be the record of decision. That's not notice to proceed. Notice to proceed would probably be in the following funding cycle, but that would be up to internal conversation with Rio Tinto and BHP, right? So we don't get to control that either. So, but we need to have all of our ducks in a row. So if it does happen at the earliest possible opportunity, we are ready to go. So that's end of my speech. If anybody else wants to have conversations on this, please do.
Any other questions?
No, I agree on the importance of working through that and having while there's the challenge of when projects drive, working through litigation, it definitely behooves us to be preparing for what may come through, and at least even if that's in a draft plan, we're in a good place to progress the agreement based on two things, certainly as the EIS members has mentioned, and then what ends up being the approved project scope to proceed internally. So with those two, yeah, definitely a good basis for discussion there as well.
Todd, as it falls under ESA future discussions, can you give the group a quick update on the preparation for the fire truck and what the next steps are?
Sure. So the fire truck is been approved by the Appropriations Committee of the Senate and by the House. It is in front of the full Senate and House for the actual approved budget. If you're watching the national news, you'll see that they're talking about another CR, but they're also putting together minibuses, which is, instead of an omnibus package that has all of the budgetary approvals, they're breaking them into chunks to try to get the more uncontroversial ones put forward. And one of those minibuses, and perhaps the first to be considered, includes USDA. USDA is one of the largest federal budgets, so and it's hopefully will be approved. If it includes CDSs, our CDS is in there. If you look for the CDSs for Arizona, almost all of them are fire trucks. There's like 10 or 12 fire trucks in the appropriation list. So what you have to understand about a CDS is it still has to meet the guidelines for the funding agency's program. So if you get a community facilities earmark through USDA, our match is about 60-40. We get about 60% grant, 40% loan. So we will have to finance that 40%. In the past, USDA has financed that for us because we could say we couldn't get private financing. It's not true anymore, we can get private financing. So we will either have to finance this truck or pay for it all in one chunk, and it's going to be roughly $700,000 in USDA money and roughly $400,000 in other sources. So because NFPA compliance is listed as one of the key components for compliance with our contract, our trucks either have to be compliant with NFPA or ISO, and they currently aren't, because NFPA says at least ISO says at least your first out truck has to be NFPA compliant. Your second out can be as old as the hills, but your first out has to be less than 25 years old. So all our trucks are what, 26, 27? So we're out of compliance currently. So to get back in compliance with this contract, we need a new truck. We've been trying to get it funded for 3 years. So once we get the truck funded, we will have to send them a check for the whole truck and then wait 3 to 4 years for it to arrive.
It's 4 years right now for a truck. It's about $1 million.
For those who aren't familiar, private equity bought most of the small fire truck manufacturers, and their build times on all these private manufacturers in order to maximize profits have gone up to the 3 to 4 year mark. So more people are buying from the main manufacturers, and it's affecting the entire industry. So private equity owns Spartan and Princeton and all the little manufacturers. So there isn't any competition for the big manufacturers. So it is what it is. We also tend to buy mainstream vehicles because we don't service our own trucks. They have to be sent down to another agency. So we don't want to buy a different standard than the vehicles they work on, because they won't have the parts in stock, they won't have vendors set up, and it'll take longer to get things fixed. So that leaves us pretty much with your spec truck. Chief, you want to tell them what it is?
A spec truck, it's a 1,000-gallon truck that we have our first out right now. It's nothing over the top. It's a basic standard truck, solid truck. It's been in the works for, like I said, quite a few years now, our specs. And,
It's $1.1 million if we finance it, and $900 and something if we pay full cash up front. So that's one of the reasons we want to pay it up front, because all the discounts for paying for it up front are significant. So I mean, $200,000 is a big swing for a small truck. So and that's the challenge to the fire truck.
And like I said, it's a 4-year, once you say yes, you wait 4 years to get a truck. It's a brand new truck.
And Chief, the name brand's escaping my brain. Can you?
Pierce?
Pierce, there you go.
Pierce.
Everybody, all the Valley departments use Pierce. There are a few Rosenbauers, but the vast majority of them are Pierces.
Pierce is a good brand. Pierce is a solid truck. Ours are solid. We have hardly any problems with them. Or like it said, they're getting old. Parts are hard to find for older trucks. And some of the truck manufacturers make like a spec truck they sell to everybody. It's not what you want, but you can buy one within 2.5 years, 3 years, they can give it to you. And it's just a standard truck they make. And like so ours is nothing, all the bells and whistles. Ours is everything you need fire there. So it's a pretty solid truck. I make sure to make up that hill pretty fast compared to what we have now. So you know, engineering goes into a lot. There's a lot to a truck, like a 5-page spec sheet on that one. What we want it to do and not to do. So it's pretty intensive.
Hopefully tariff impacts will not be as severe on this manufacturer because it's all built in the U.S., but I think it's Detroit Motors usually. I don't know which one they're specing right now. But so hopefully it's all made in the U.S. Cross your fingers.
And if you want ambulance, probably 2 years before you get all those. And they're like 300,000. 154.
We have had good luck with used ones, though. You buy it and then you spend 20% of what you bought on it, bringing it back up to code.
Any other questions or comments on that item? Moving on, item B, discussion on possibility of Resolution Copper Mining helping purchase reconditioned light pack monitor in the amount of $18,396.73 with accessories.
So the adopted ESA budget has $18,000 or $16,000 for capital expenditures in it, $36,000 for a fire truck that we haven't bought yet. So there is some extra room in that. So this is a needed item for the third truck. The ADHS wants the trucks to all be ALS, and we have 3, and we only have 2 monitors. It's a light pack 50.
Yeah, they come and inspect them all at one time and want everything to be ALS. So you can't, each one has to have a monitor in it for ALS.
These are the same monitors that Resolution specs. You guys have 2 of them on your site. So, and they're a pretty old model, so you can get a reconditioned one for half or less of what the
Yeah,
new one
the
costs.
price of a new one with no accessories is $50,000 to $51,000. Brand new.
This is a factory reconditioned one. Anyone have any questions?
Questions? I don't, that's isn't really a voting, it just has to go back to them for just
Well,
the same
it's a
possibility
pretty,
as
it's
the
vague on
public.
here. I think we could accept a motion to approve it. Our bylaws require any capital expenditure, no matter what size, to be approved by the Emergency Services Committee. The original contract doesn't call for that, but it did call for us to adopt a policy within 6 months stating how we would approve all capital expenditures. And the committee at the time, which is, what, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, decided that they wanted to follow the same procedure for all capital expenditures. So it has to be approved by the Emergency Services Committee and then the council, and then it's good to go.
So somebody can make a motion to approve purchasing them.
Yeah, it doesn't say approval, but it says discussion on getting it approved. I think it's vague enough we can make a motion to
Okay.
approve it.
Make a motion to, further discuss the possibility of funding that. Is that how you wanna?
Sure. You guys have to approve moving it forward to the council. So if you want to say that you want to approve the expenditure on level and forward it to the council, it's an advisory committee, not a decision-making committee. So you're advising it to the council to decide.
Do we have a motion to move this forward to council for approval of funding this from the amount of $18,396.73?
And just clarifying that you said there is funds still existing within the capital expenditure area, so this wouldn't be like an additional.
No, this is when there's an approved capital. Every year we put forward a budget that includes the proposed expenditures. It included, again, $16,000 for capital expenditures equipment and $36,000 for vehicle capital expenditures. Those were the two capital expenditure items. But because we don't have a fire check yet, they can't spend that money yet. So spending it on the extra $2,000 on the monitor is reasonable.
And I'll second that.
So, motion carried by Brad Lingard and second by Brian Sutcliffe. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And moving on, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
And second? All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned at 6:36.
So Brian, we're probably going to